What's going on, guys? CritNick here, and if you want to do your own classic, all you need is 5 other friends in Project Rio. You can download that on the website, or if you go into our Discord server, you can also find the download for Project Rio. All you have to do with your 5 other friends is each pick a character one at a time until you get 6 teams of 9, and then you play a season with those teams and see who truly is the classic champions. Also, if you get me to 250 subs, I will make another Mario Baseball video next week. I promise. Suggest something for me to do in the comments down below. The highest like suggestion I'll do. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's Mario Baseball centric, I will do it if we hit 250 subscribers before this weekend ends. So hopefully we can do it. Enjoy the video, guys. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? The Dinger City Classic is almost over, and I have a lot of opinions about the draft in the Classic, and not necessarily how it should go down, but what characters you should be picking first and what characters you should be waiting on to a little bit later. The Classic is a very different format from any other draft that's ever been done because it's 6 different people drafting with all 54 characters in the game. So I've broken it down into 9 tiers of characters that should go in round 1, round 2, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at the first round. So, the round 1 picks. This is my opinion, and all of these tiers are ordered. It gets a little bit more sloppy as it goes on, as lower parts of tier lists tend to do. But this, I believe, is pretty firm. These are your round 1 picks. Petey Piranha, no matter... Okay, so some people like to pick their captains before they start drafting at all. If this is just base draft, nobody has any characters beforehand, this is how I believe it should be drafted. So, your round 1 pick should... If you have first pick, pick Petey Piranha. That's it. You should always pick Petey Piranha. He is a home run machine, and if he's not for you, practice, because he's really, really good. He has the same power as Bowser. He just takes a little bit more finesse at bat. He also has a great singles bat, and I'm pretty sure he has a good bunt, too. So he's got a lot of utility. You're probably not going to be bunting with him very often, but the home run's insane, as well as you are hard-pressed for a good catcher. A lot of the other catchers would rather play other positions, such as a Pianta would prefer to play shortstop or second base, probably shortstop. Bowser would prefer to play first or third, and those are the strong arms. You have more than one Pianta in the Classic, but more likely than not, you're not going to end up with more than one of them. So Petey Piranha offers you the strongest catcher's throwing arm in the game, which is huge for negating steals. And steals, if you watch any of the Classic, there were a lot more steals than there are in regular baseball, because instead of going against Petey Piranha 50% of the time, you're going against him 20% of the time, and that makes a big difference for the game. So if I just highly recommend Petey as your first pick no matter what. Another thing that becomes really important, one more note about Petey, actually, I'm sorry. Home runs are a commodity in the Classic. They are very hard to hit because instead of having, you know, 2 or 3 power hitters, you're probably going to only end up with 1 or 2, and some of them are going to be the lower tier power hitters that don't always hit them out, like the Piantas, Donkey Kong, even Wario you could count because he can do it. Toads can do it, we've seen it. So yeah, home run hitters are a commodity. You're going to see some of those coming up soon. Boo is a really good pitcher. Pitching is another thing you really, really need in the Classic. We noticed that people, for example, Tyler was pitching with Green Shy Guy. He had Daisy, so he should have been pitching Daisy. Everybody knows that. But he valued her more at second, so he was pitching Green Shy Guy, and he went 1 and 9. Yeah, he's been hit like crazy this whole Classic. I had to pitch with Waluigi, and I did all right, but Waluigi is just not a solid enough pitcher to make that happen, unfortunately. But Boo's bat is unmatched. He gets doubles without having to use a star hit with the curved trajectory that he has, which is extremely valuable. You know, if anybody hitting a double, if your runners are on at least second base, they're going to score most likely. So Boo's really, really valuable in that position, as well as he is argued to be the best pitcher in the game. So having a good pitcher this early that can also bat really well is definitely valuable. And also, Boo might be able to hit home runs on DK Jungle, you know, short stadiums like that. I wouldn't count on it. The double is really, really good, but it's possible. Moving on to Donkey Kong, he is, I mean, everybody knows Donkey Kong is an incredible character. I think that Petey Piranha brings you more utility and more of a unique thing that you need, you're going to notice that characters with unique things are ranked really high. But Donkey Kong just brings you everything. He brings you a great singles bat. He brings you a great charge swing that can either land for doubles in the outfield or just go straight over the fence. He brings you the banana ball, which is arguably the best star hit in the game. I personally think that it is the best star hit in the classic because, as we'll talk about soon with Birdo, anybody can catch an egg. It just depends where it goes. The banana ball, some people just are going to have abusable outfields, and even if there's a character that might have gotten to it, they probably don't have them. So the banana ball, in my opinion, is the best one. We've also seen it go over the wall once, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Donkey Kong's super solid. He has laser. He plays the middle infield. Middle infield is something you're going to be really grabbing for. You saw a lot of people playing like Dry Bones, Shy Guy, Nokis in their infield, and those characters are generally weaker than some of the higher tier ones at those positions. So you want to be reaching for characters that are larger and just do a lot more earlier. So Donkey Kong, I would put about there. Birdo's next. She plays a premier second base, a good shortstop, very good shortstop. She also has chemistry with Shy Guy, as well as Yoshi, and that might be it. I don't remember. But she has decent chemistry, and every team except for one can have one Shy Guy. So more likely than not, as the Birdo team, you will end up with at least one Shy Guy. Which makes her arm very serviceable at shortstop, as well as she has the Egg Ball. The Egg Ball is a very good star hit. It's one of the most devastating RBI scoring hits in the entire game. You just got to get good at aiming it. It's tough, but Birdo's really, really good. I rank Bowser a little bit lower than these characters because of course, Bowser hits home runs, but in the classic, when you have worse characters all around, when your team is like a few really good characters and then it starts to trickle off really quickly, it's a lot easier to walk Bowser in those scenarios. It definitely reduces Bowser's viability, but Bowser still has some insane traits. Of course, he hits home runs everywhere. It doesn't matter. He's so strong. If you are pitched to, you're probably going to hit a home run. Jason didn't really show us that this classic, but yeah, Bowser is very, very good at hitting home runs. Everybody knows that. Bowser also has laser, which is great on first and third to throw home really quickly. He has a big body, which is really important. And he has good chemistries too. He has chemistry with Bro. He has chemistry with Koopa. A couple other guys like that, Bowser Jr., which you're gonna be seeing characters like that. So, but yeah, definitely Bowser should go in the first round. If Bowser's not going in the first round, then you are getting away with him in the second as a total steal. Last one in the first round is Yoshi. Yoshi is extremely unique with the egg ball that is landing most of the time for singles, sometimes for doubles, especially with people's middle infields being weaker. Not everybody's going to have a Birdo. The egg is going to more likely than not get past or get to a fielder too slowly. So Yoshi will at least get on first, who can be capitalized on by a good singles hitter, star hitter later to score all the way from first. Yoshi DK is a disgusting combo that you will probably never see in a classic, but if you do, that's tough. But Yoshi also is the best outfielder in the game with tongue catch. He can catch anything from anywhere, pretty much. He is arguably the best infielder in the game in the middle infield, shortstop and second base, with his tongue. It just reaches everything. He's got 9 speed. Jason made some disgusting plays with Yoshi at shortstop. It negated so many of my hits because that's where most of my characters were trying to hit, kind of in that area, and Yoshi was just getting everything. It was absurd. But yeah, you should definitely be picking Yoshi about this early. He is very, very good. So moving on to our round 2 picks. This is what we got. Try not to spoil the next parts. Round 2, you're going to start that off with King Boo. King Boo offers a lot of utility. He's got a strong arm, and he's got super jump and a big body, so he plays third base really, really well. He's also got chemistry with characters like Petey Piranha, Boo. So if you get one of those round 1 and then can pick up KB round 2, you're in great shape. That is a very, very good base to build your classic team off of. King Boo also hits home runs, and he has a really good singles bat. He is just a great character all around. It's hard to say whether he should be... If you value home runs a bit more than the unique characters that are really good, you could move King Boo up to a round 1 pick, and some people might. But I have him about here. Next to him is Boomerang Bro and Hammer Bro. They both offer insane home run hitting. They both have... Boomerang Bro has a good... Honestly, I believe Boomerang Bro has a good singles bat. Dennis has proven that to me. Some people kind of don't like it or don't believe in it, but I think it's really good. It gives him a lot of utility, as well as he has a good star hit, but you don't see it a lot because most of the time it's like, why wouldn't you just hit a home run? And home runs, like I said, are a hard thing to come by, and your Boomerang Bro is not going to be walked as much as someone like Bowser, because Boomerang Bro, he might hit a home run like 30% of his at-bats. Bowser's hitting him 50 plus. So Boomerang Bro is definitely a really, really good pick. Hammer Bro, same exact thing pretty much. Hammer Bro, actually, there's a chance for Hammer Bro to be a bit better than Boomerang Bro if his Falcon Pop star hit is experimented with. He has the Pop Fly star hit, and if you switch him to righty and get crummy contact, it's actually gonna land for a pretty decent single. Probably only a single with him. Some of the Falcon Poppers can hit it for a double, but probably only a single for him, disregarding field shenanigans. Next, we have all the Magikoopas. The fourth Magikoopa is after this. This is exactly where you should be picking Magikoopa. He plays an impeccable third base, impeccable first base. He reels in balls that nobody else is getting from those positions. His jump is not the highest in the game, but he's the tallest character in the game, so he just looks like he's making plays that he absolutely should not be. We've got blue first, because blue's the fastest, and the other one, red, specifically, some people like red better. Red has a little bit better batting. Batting power doesn't matter all that much with the Magikoopas, because you're hitting with star hits, you're not really charging. And as long as it's not super low, the bat power doesn't matter too much. I put green next because I'm almost positive about this, that the green one is a better pitcher, and you will be strapped for pitchers in the Classic. There's some pitchers coming up that you might want to pick a little bit earlier, depending if your team needs a pitcher or not. But Green Mage can make, he's the best pitcher out of all of them. Red Mage is next. You know, he's got a little bit higher batting power. If that's your thing, that's fine. But all the Magikoopas are really, really good. This is about where they should go, in my opinion. And then we move on to round 3. You know, you got Yellow Magikoopa, the worst of the bunch. He offers the least, in my opinion. But he should still be picked over Fire Bro. I know that sucks to hear me say, you know, CritNick the Fire Goat. But I do believe Fire Bro is a cut below the rest of the really powerful home run hitters, because he can do it. Obviously, you've seen it. And his bat is more like, you know, a regular baseball bat. So if you have an easier time visualizing the hitbox on a regular baseball bat compared to a boomerang or a hammer, you know, you're gonna have a better time with Fire Bro. The only thing that can be frustrating about him is he hits a lot of line drives, which personally I don't mind super, like, too much, but that's mostly because I've come to accept that I am good with Fire Bro. I just have to suffer the consequences sometimes. Then after Fire Bro, you've got all 3 Piantas. Obviously the Pink Menace first. There's some stock in saying that maybe you could put the other 2 a little bit lower, because the Pink Menace Red Pianta, he's got what everyone else has. He's got the laser the other 2 Piantas have, which make them great middle infielders, you know, throwing home quick. They're actually not that tall, so they don't play the corner bases very well, but they can also play good catchers, and sometimes you're going to be strapped for good catchers. If you see a decently fast character on first base and you have Pianta at shortstop or second, move Pianta to catcher, because then they're going to have a harder time stealing to second base. That's something that I kept thinking in my Classic games. I'm like, I should be doing this, and then I just kept forgetting. But Pink Menace also has the highest power out of the 3 of them, and recently we discovered that he has the Falcon Pop star hit. So depending on what stadium you're playing on, because in the way we did the Classic, you knew what stadium you were playing on before the game started. So if you're playing on a stadium with really big walls, like Bowser Stadium or Bowser Castle or Peach Gardens, make Pianta righty. It's a little bit worse for sure, because the charge was never going to go over those walls anyways. But you have access to the Falcon Pop, as well as you still have good line drives. It just needs a little bit of practice. But having the Falcon Pop on those bigger stadiums gives Pianta viability, and you're stuck on him on your team for the Classic no matter what. So it's good to have someone who can do 2 different things depending on where you are. The same cannot be said for the other 2. They do not have the Falcon Pop, but they have similar power, so they can tear it over the walls of the lower stadiums. You're never really going to see a Pianta dinger on Peach Castle or Peach Gardens or Bowser Castle, but you'll for sure see them on other stadiums, and they have that laser ability, like I said, so they're really good. That's where I place them, but there is something to say about maybe putting them lower. This one is a bit surprising, maybe, but when you realize that a lot of people got super screwed for pitching in our Classic, you'd know why I put Diddy Kong this high. And full disclosure, I believe Dixie Kong is the next character. Their bats are pretty rough, to be honest, but Diddy Kong got the Banana Ball, which gives him utility, and his Banana Ball is much more valuable when Yoshi is not your opponent. So honestly, building a team Diddy Captain with Yoshi on your team for the Classic could be pretty damn good, now that I'm thinking about it. He also makes up a really good pitching spot, so I would honestly possibly consider moving Diddy above those other two Piantas, but that just depends how much you crave a good pitcher, but you should in the Classic. Diddy Kong is very good in this position. He also has a good bunt, and his singles bat is fine. Your weird, like, little singles bats are going to get through more because people's defenses are going to be worse. You're only going to see Birdo and Yoshi 20% of the time instead of 50%. So let's move on to the round 4 picks. So, this one's a bit of a weird tier. People are going to... This is probably where the most questions, or the most, what's it called? What's the word I'm trying to look for? The most vitriol for me is going to come up. I believe that Luigi is the next character you should be picking. If you don't have a good captain yet, if you don't have Donkey Kong, if you don't have Birdo, if you don't have Yoshi, if you don't have, honestly, Diddy Kong. I think Diddy Kong has a lot of value in the Classic, especially as a captain. Luigi's star hit was very good. First of all, this is the first wall jumper on our list. Wall jumpers are invaluable in the Classic. They definitely go down a bit because not as many people are hitting home runs. However, it's really good to have one. You can move them around in your outfield. And Luigi seems to be the best of them in the Classic, with lefty Luigi hitting the green fireball down the third base line in that area, down left. It's good. It's very good. And we've seen it's very glitchy too. It can actually make the shortstop like stop aiming for it. You've seen it a lot in Mr. Joe's games. The shortstop just like stops trying to get the ball. It's very frustrating, but that makes it very good. It's at minimum a single almost every time, and a consistent single almost every time. Sure, it costs a star, but sounds a bit like Bowser to me. I don't know. But after that, I forgot actually that I had Luigi higher. But I have Dixie Kong next. Her bat is not great, but if you practice with it, it's a pretty decent star hit. Or sorry, she does not have a star hit. It's a pretty decent bat. And as well as she pitches very similar to Diddy Kong. And like I said, you're going to be strapped for pitchers. You're going to see pitchers a bit higher in this type of format than you would see them in a regular tier list. So this is where Dixie belongs. You know, you're playing Birdo against Birdo and Yoshi 20% of the time instead of 50, so it makes her bat a bit better. Just practice with it, and yeah, she's not bad. She's not bad. Next, we got Mario. Mario is also a good character. You know, he's hard to play against certain players. You know, certain people are real dynamos pitching against some character like Mario, like Jason, for example. Jason literally made me stop picking Mario because of how good he was at pitching to him. But Mario's got a very consistent singles bat. He's got a star swing, whether he's your captain or not. 1 star is obviously better than 2, but it's still a good thing to have in your back pocket. You could do it expectedly, you could do it unexpectedly, and there's going to be more opportunities to use 2-star hits in the Classic because your star characters are just so spread out. Mario also has wall jump, so he plays a good right field, as well as there's some potential chemistry opportunities. He plays a decent first base as well. I've actually, you know, that's a weird take, but I've actually seen him play a pretty decent first base. And with chemistry like Peach and stuff at second, the ball gets there rocket fast. It's very, very fast. So Mario's about here. Next, this is another bit of a CritNick hot take, but I played with her a lot in the Classic. This is Red Noki. The discovery of the Falcon Pop right after we drafted the Classic teams made things very, very strange. I wound up going from having the worst team by far in the Classic to probably still having the worst team, but it was a lot better because I wound up with three Falcon Pop characters, which were Red Pianta, Red Noki, Black Shy Guy. So I personally believe that the Falcon Pop is better than the Line Drive Star Hit. I'm picking Magikoopa for sure over any Falcon Popper for sure. But the Falcon Pop, once you get good at it, once you get consistent with it, it's, in my opinion, honestly, it's more technical to learn where to hit it on the bat, but once it's honestly easier to place it in the right spot. And someone that's a kind of faster like Noki, depending on the stadium you're on, you could get a double pretty easily like this, but you still take the single anyways. It's very good at scoring runs as well because the ball takes a while to land, blah, blah, blah. Noki is very good. She also plays a good outfield. She has sliding catch. She also plays a pretty decent second base. You can put her at catcher. She has a decent arm, and that chemistry from Pianta to Noki will make his laser even faster. So she has a lot of utility, and this is where you're going to see the first Noki. After that, we've got Toadsworth. Toadsworth, everybody's kind of trending down on Toadsworth right now. I think that he should see a bit of a rise. The thing that's really holding him back in the classic standings is he doesn't have a good fielding position. It's harder to just stuff somebody in center field when there's so many weird characters you don't know where the ball's going to be going every time because, oh, I never play against Toad. What's going on? But Toadsworth's very volatile on this list. He's got a great singles bat, did not put up a good performance in the classic on Andrew's team, but he still does have a great singles bat, and he's got a good star hit too. He's got a line drive. So hopefully someone with a little bit more of a brain gets their hands on Toadsworth in the next Stinger City Classic so they can show us that, hey, you know, Toadsworth might belong a few more spots up. But for now, this is where I have him. Round 4 is still nothing to sneeze at by any means. But yeah, some people might rank him a little bit higher. Not this guy, though. And then another surprising one. To me, anyways, probably not to you guys, because you guys believe in this character for some reason, is Toadette. I think that Toadette offers a lot of utility. She honestly has a fine singles bat, just learn it. Duh. She has a good bunt, and she's fast, so she can just make it to first. Her fielding is insane. She's got 9 speed tied with Yoshi, and she has sliding catch, which makes her range of getting balls. It's worse than Yoshi's, but not by all that much. She also has wall jump. She's going to wall jump some balls that no other character can, because the next fastest wall jumper is Baby Luigi, and nobody wants to have Baby Luigi on their team. Then after that, you're going to see, you know, Luigi, Mario, 5, 6 speed characters. Baby Mario has 7. Bowser Jr. I think Bowser Jr. is pretty slow. I don't remember his exact number, though. But Toadette just offers your team a lot of utility. She can also play a good second base because her character model is bigger than it appears. Her hitbox, rather, is bigger than her character model. So she plays a good second base as well. She makes plays that only Yoshi might make at second base. So that's about where you probably want to take Toadette. Defense is very important in the Classic, as you may be noticing. But let's move on. Round 5. So this is where things get a little bit weird. You know, the Classic draft falls off really quickly because a lot of the characters start to really suck. But we're actually still at some pretty good characters. And this is a tier I struggled with a lot because I think Falcon Pop is better than Line Drive. Honestly, I can't fix it right now, but I might rank Red and Black Shy Guy higher than Green Paratrooper. I know that's kind of crazy because we've all been like, oh, the green star hits are the best ones for a long time. And it might, honestly, might just not be true anymore. We have to really play like a season with them and see for sure. But in the Classic, it seemed at least that the Falcon Pop was better. Doesn't double play, and that's huge. Because double plays are, besides triple play, is probably the most devastating thing that could happen to you in baseball. It either ruins your inning or ends your inning. So it's really, really rough. But the Shy Guys have their Falcon Pop, which is really good if you make them righty. They also have a really good singles bat if you are hitting on the outside of the bat. So inside of the bat gets the Falcon Pop hit with the star. Outside of the bat gets the good single with Shy Guy. And Tyler showed us, you know, he hit a lot of good singles with Shy Guys. He had 3 of them, and we saw a lot of good singles come from those characters. So that's about where I'd put the Shy Guys. I'd put Green Paratrooper after that now looking at this list. Green Paratrooper plays a good corner base, and sometimes you need a good corner baseman. He's got a good arm, so he can play third base pretty well. He can get the ball in pretty quickly from the outfield as well. He's just a bit slower than some of the characters you could be playing there. But Green Paratrooper is probably going to find himself in your outfield in the Classic because, weirdly enough, you'll probably draft faster characters because there's so many characters to be drafted. After that is Daisy. Some people really like Daisy's star hit, some people don't. I'm not a huge believer in it, but it's nothing to snuff at her second base. Tyler showed us that she plays second base very, very well. She's got the quick throw, she's got the sliding catch. So she gets the balls really quickly. Her speed's not that high, but she gets the balls really quickly because sliding catch accelerates her quite a bit. She locks onto them better than other characters that could play that position. And with quick throw, she will make more double plays than pretty much every other second baseman other than a Peach. But Peach isn't even getting as many balls because she doesn't have sliding catch. So Daisy is the premier second baseman. Double plays, especially with characters with worse bats, you know, dropping a little piddly ball to Daisy, she's going to turn the double play more often than a lot of other characters. Next up, we have 2 Toads. I believe these Toads have the strongest power out of all of them. I want to say they match Red Pianta. I'm not 100% sure on that fact. It might be a little bit lower. However, Andrew's proven it. Toad hits dingers. He does. It's insanity. He doesn't even need to hit him perfect to get him out. Toad is like this weird, unbelievable character that just came out of nowhere. I thought he was the worst in the game like months ago, but Andrew really showed us that that is wrong. They have pretty good speed as well. Their arms aren't anything to write home about, but they're okay. And these two Toads specifically have access to the Falcon Pop. We did not see Andrew do that very much because Andrew liked charging with Toads, but just having a character that is so versatile, and there's two of them, the red and purple Toad, they're very good picks, and this is about where they should go, in my opinion. They don't have a perfect fielding position, but just stuff them in outfield, and they're good. All right, moving on to the round 6 picks. We've got a very interesting group of characters. We have the Goomba. Goomba can pitch. Some people don't like pitching with him. Some people do. I personally don't very much, but some people really like pitching with him. Pitching with Goomba also gives you access to ball dash at any base because Goomba will go and cover a base, which means stealing against you is very hard. If you do not have PD Piranha on your team, if you do not have a really good pitcher like the Boo or I guess like Diddy or Dixie, learn Goomba, pitch Goomba, because he's going to prevent steals more often than not. Or help to do so anyways. And he pitches a pretty decent game. You just got to practice with him. He also has a pretty good singles bat. I had Goomba this past Classic, and I learned that he has a pretty solid singles bat. You can also stick him on first base. If anyone ever tries to steal second, you throw the ball to second, they start going back, you throw the ball to Goomba, he runs and tags them out. You are very, very hard to steal against when you have a character like Goomba. And as well as him being able to be your pitcher makes him pretty versatile. I put him about here. Wario's next. Now, Wario has been having trouble finding a niche lately, and Mr. Joe, I received a text message today that said that he might be believing that Wario is better than Daisy again, and I think that that's just not true. I think that Wario's got home run potential, so it might make him a bit better. However, Daisy is turning more double plays than Wario, which are very important, obviously. But he's got a decent star hit. Not playing against Birdo and Yoshi is going to make that star hit more valuable. The charge bat can go over the wall. You know, you're playing on smaller stadiums, so it's very possible. And he's got a good singles bat. I've always liked Wario's singles bat. And he plays a good second base, too. He's not as good as Daisy, I think, but he does play a good second base. He doesn't have a good arm, so that's why he's at second base instead of shortstop. And he's a lot wider than Daisy. Daisy's kind of thin, so she's more for, like, very practiced Mario Baseball characters who can just precisely jump and stuff where they need to be. Because sometimes the ball just goes past Daisy. Those balls aren't going to go past Wario. So he's a bit of a safety net, and if you don't get Daisy but want a good second baseman, Wario makes up for that pretty well. Here's a weird one. We got Koopa in the middle of round 6 picks. Red Koopa specifically. He's got a Falcon Pop. Falcon Pop's a really good star hit, and Koopa has a pretty damn good one. You gotta put in the practice with him, you know? You gotta practice his regular bat for when you're not gonna have stars. If you just pick Koopa and expect him to do work for you, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. You need to get in the lab. You gotta start hitting some star hits with him. So you gotta start hitting some regular hits with him. You can stuff him somewhere like center field. He's not gonna be great there. You can put him on, you know, first base. You can put him at home plate, you know, Bowser Chem, either way. Some people like to play Bowser at second base. Personally, I do not, but they can, and that gives him chemistry, which makes the throw even better. Does he have chemistry with Bowser Jr.? If he has chemistry with Bowser Jr. right field to Koopa first base is good chemistry. You can throw out sometimes, like, some of the really slow runners, like, Toadsworth really the only slow runner that hits the ball to right field that I'm thinking of right now. Maybe a Boomerang Bro slap hit, but those are usually way too good anyways. They are usually too hard to field in time. But Koopa, pretty good. Star hit's pretty good. You just got to practice with it. After that, I have Green Noki, and there could definitely be some argument to upping Green Noki, but I am trending down on the line drive star hits. They result in so many double plays if they're not aimed correctly. And I mean, you know, I'd love to see what you guys think about that if you want to leave a comment down below, my opinion there. But I think that the Falcon Pop characters are better than the, like, lower tier line drive characters. So this is where Noki is. She, just like the other Noki, plays a good outfield. She's fast and has slide and catch. She can play second base, and she can play catcher, although it's not her preferred position. She can be there. You're going to most likely see Noki in left and center field. After that, we got Green Bones. Once again, a character that has a hard time finding a place in the field, but he's got a good singles bat. He's got a good line drive star swing. He's got decent chem with villainous characters such as, I believe, Bowser. I'm saying believe because I'm not 100% sure. You know what? I'm going to pull up the chemistry chart on my other monitor. All right, Dry Bones has chemistry with Koopa and Bowser. Having chemistry with your dead self's kind of scary, but regardless, makes Dry Bones a pretty decent character, and there are 4 of them. This one is probably the best because he has the he has the line drive star hit, and the red one I believe does have the Falcon Pop, but I believe people are saying that it's not a very good one, so you'll see him lower in a little bit. But next we have Baby Mario. This is one of the worst wall jumpers probably, but I honestly think I have him. He's ranked 4 out of 6 in wall jumpers on this right now. Baby Mario, in my opinion, I played with him. He has a really good singles bat. I'm making some people in the club and maybe even viewers as well believe in Baby Mario as a batter. And once again, as you're not playing against Birdo second base as much, his hits are going to be getting through, and they are not strong enough to ever be caught by an outfielder pretty much. So as long as they get over the infield, they are certainly going to be landing. You're going to be playing Baby Mario in right field pretty much exclusively. He's fast. He's got wall jump. That's what he does. You can move him to left field if you have another wall jumper, but typically that's going to be a bit more rare because there are 6 of them. All right, moving on to round 7. Your round 7 picks are 3 Toads and 3 Bones. I'll say the same thing I said about before. You know, Blue Toad is the fastest Toad, so he plays outfield a bit better than the others, just a bit. Yellow Toad, I believe, has the best arm, I think, or he's the best pitcher. I don't remember. Purple Toad might have the best arm. Look into that on your own time. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and then Green Toad here. They all have not the same home run hitting power as regular Toad, but they can still put it over on a smaller stadium like DK Jungle, which you're going to be playing at every once in a while. And a home run anytime during the Classic is very, very valuable. As well as long as you're practicing with Toad, he's got a good singles bat. He definitely has a good singles bat. And it's weird too because you have to pitch to Toad a little bit differently than every other character, because if you throw Toad an inside pitch, he's just going to hit it, and he's going to hit it well, which is very weird. It's not usually how it works for most of the other characters. So this is about where I have the Toads. They're just good characters. And then I have the Bones after that. People are really enjoying Bones' singles bat lately, and I have to agree with them. I think Bones has been putting up a lot of good singles, as well as they're so abundant that you're going to see them playing, you know, second base, center field pretty often. He's got a terrible arm, so putting him in center field's kind of rough. You might see him at second base more. He's just a little bit small, but I've seen him make some pretty nasty plays. I believe the red one has a bit more power, but that doesn't mean he's going to be hitting it over the fence or anything. So that's where I have all of those. Let's move on to round 8. A lot less to say about some of these characters. In round 8, you got the rest of the Shy Guys. They have good singles bats, and they have Birdo chemistry and sliding catch. They're going to make some plays at first base. They're going to have that Birdo chem to make Birdo a more valuable character there. And their singles bats, similar to Baby Mario's, typically land, as long as they get out of the infield, they land a bit before the right fielder, which is good. You know, you're mostly going to be playing your Shy Guys righty, I believe. And they're pretty good. You're not taking them higher than this, though. That's all I can say. Next up, we have 2 pitchers. If you didn't get other pitchers, Waluigi and Peach have value here. They're so low because they're just not good characters. Like, Waluigi has a fine singles bat. It goes usually to the left field. If it gets over the infield, which is usually better than going to right field, I think. Waluigi's not going to make doubles very often, but he could move a runner from first to third if his hit's good enough. He also has Laser and Super Jump, which is a unique combination in the game. He can play first base pretty well. Laser, honestly, his Laser is not that good because his throwing arm's really bad. Laser's a 30% increase, so it only brings his arm, I believe, to a 55. And I believe Mario's arm is just better than that. But having Super Jump and Laser, a pretty fast arm at first base is pretty good. If you have to pitch with him, he's serviceable. I pitched with him the whole time, but he gets pretty easy to read. He doesn't have as much curve as the Monkeys and Boo. And his pitches aren't as quick as Daisy and Peach's. So it's something to look out for. You know, it's a lot of comfort as well. But Waluigi sits about there for me. His star hit's garbage. I've used it a few times just for fun. It was never me actually trying to make it work. So yeah. And then we've got Peach after that. This one might be a bit controversial, but Peach is just not a good character. You know, she plays second base okay. Shouldn't have as much range, so she's not going to be making as many plays as someone like Daisy or even Wario. She got quick throw, so if the ball does get in her glove, she's going to turn some pretty decent double plays. But I'd recommend trying to stay away from Peach if you can, unless you know, have to. If you have characters, Mr. Joe made it work so well, like Luigi, like any Toads. Giving Peach chemistry, it makes her bat a bit better. And, you know, we saw Mr. Joe hit a home run, so you just got to practice with it. She's got a pretty decent singles bat. You just got to practice with it. But this is about where I'd pick her. You definitely don't want her on your team. And now, that being said, maybe I'd move Bowser Jr. up a little bit. I don't know, because Peach can still pitch, and Waluigi can still pitch. And if you don't have a pitcher, you should be taking these characters. But Bowser Jr. is kind of the poor man's Baby Mario and Toadette and any other wall jumper. He's the only Bowser cam that has wall jump, which can be pretty good if you got Bowser early like that. And Bowser's on first, you can throw out some pretty slow characters if the ball goes there, which is, I mean, that's pretty cool and unique. You don't see throwouts from right field to first in this game very often. As well as he technically is a power hitter, however, his trajectory just sucks, and his hitbox for his perfect sucks. I haven't seen a Bowser Jr. home run in a long time. His singles bat is something you definitely have to practice with. I am not great with it, and I think that showed in the classic. But some people like Little Cokes make Bowser Jr.'s singles bat look really, really good. So just practice with that a bit if you get Bowser Jr., and he should be a pretty decent asset to your team if you didn't get any other wall jumpers. He's gonna catch a home run or two as long as you know how to make wall jump work. So that's about where I'd put him. Moving on to the final round of draft picks. Got some stinkers here for you. Some people, specifically Jason, was arguing for Baby Luigi to be a bit higher than this. I don't really like Baby Luigi very much. I think his bat pops the ball up too much, and it's just hard to land a hit with him. Decent bunter. He's got 8 speed, just a little bit under Toadette. He's got a decent bunt. He could bring people home from third for sure. And with wall jump 8 speed, he's going to be making wall jumps that some other characters just literally can't. Mario, Luigi, Bowser Jr. Baby Mario is pretty close to his speed, but not quite. But yeah, if you didn't wind up with a wall jumper and you need one by the end, he's more pickable than probably the rest of these characters. Blue Noki, this is pretty low for Blue Noki, but I think her singles bat isn't very good. You have to practice a lot with it if you want it to be any good at all. She can bunt people in. She's not that fast, so she's usually not going to make it to base. If one of the good things I'm saying about you is you can bunt things in and get out, it means you're not very good. She plays a decent outfield. She's fast. She's faster than the other 2 Nokis and has sliding catch, so she's going to get to a few more balls. I believe this Noki has 7 speed, so she's tied with Baby Mario. She's going to get more balls than Baby Mario, but without wall jump makes Noki just a bit worse. After that, you've got Monty Mole. This is pretty low for Monty. Some people might value him a bit more because of Ball Dash. Having Ball Dash on first base helps prevent steals. And as we've seen in the classic, that's pretty important. So I think people who are playing with Monty might rank him a little bit higher, but I didn't play with Monty, so this is about where I'd put him. His bat's not very good. Yeah, that's all I got to say about him. I don't like him very much as a character. Don't play him in your outfield. His arm's just bad. Like, put him on first. If you don't have first base open for him, probably just don't play him. Don't pick him. Pick anybody else. Next, you've got Green Koopa. I believe Green Koopa has a bigger perfect zone than Red Koopa, which means he can technically dink it out a bit more. That being said, he's just not a good character. Sliding catch isn't good for him because he's so small. His dive range isn't very big either. He's not a fast character. Doesn't have a great arm, so this is where he remains. Red Paratrooper's saving grace is that he has super jump, so he can play corner bases if you want, and he has a good arm. But Red Paratrooper, unfortunately, his bat is not very good at all. He, unlike the rest of the red characters, for some reason, did not get the Falcon Pop star hit. So he just loses a lot of value there. And he might be a bit better than Green Koopa, but until I see him hit a home run, I'm just not going to put him above that. And finally, the last character you should ever be picking, unless you are desperate for a good first baseman, or third baseman, I guess, is Paragoomba. He has super jump. He has an okay singles bat, but besides that, he just doesn't do a lot. He can play left field as well. He's kind of fast, and he's got a pretty decent arm. I could rank him over Red Paratrooper. Red Paratrooper is really bad in the Classic, really, really bad. But this is about where I would put him. So, that's it. There's my final list. You guys should let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would love to hear your opinions. I'm sure you've already written some. And I encourage you guys, whoever's played in a Classic before, I encourage you to make a list similar to this, because I'd love to see other people's opinions. I think this is pretty standard. I wouldn't be surprised if this is like what people would base it on, because I had Joey and Jason and Tyler help me out with this a bit, but it's mostly my opinions. They just moved a couple characters around. Suggested I move a couple characters around. But these are just my thoughts. I want to hear what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. If you haven't liked the video, please do. It helps out a ton. Subscribe if you're not yet. I could really use some love. I'd appreciate that so much. And if you want to see more Mario Baseball content from me, I think I'm a pretty insightful guy. Leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to make some more Mario Baseball content if you want it. So I love you so much, guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye.